Well, time to start stretching those muscles, getting those hamstrings loose, and getting ready for the annual Fifth Third Riverbank Run, of course, coming up this coming Saturday. Here talking, getting ready for the race with race director Kristin Aidif and elite athlete coordinator and 7-time race winner Greg Meyer. Guys, thank you as always for your annual visit to the show.
We love coming on. Thanks for having us.
It's great to be here.
Well, of course, and I'm glad you guys could make it. All right, so we've had a lot of rain in the last month, and some talk. I know 2 years ago we had the big deal when we had to kind of reroute the course, and we're going back and forth on a different course because we had some flooding along the Grand River. We've had a lot of rain. We've had some flooding issues, but not quite as bad as 2 years ago. Where do we stand?
I'm glad we didn't have all the snow that we had this winter, because as of this past Saturday, it's dry out there. Now we've just got to get some support from the cities on Tuesday and Wednesday to come on out and clean up the course, and we should be good to go with our regular traditional 25K course on Saturday.
Okay, so what do? They come through with the trucks and any loose branches and all the random
sludge, the
stuff?
tree trunks, garbage bags. Hopefully those will all be taken out, and we'll have a clear road for the runners.
So get rid of the garbage and then bring the street sweepers through.
Exactly.
Get through the little nook there as we go through the woods and all that.
Exactly.
See, I always ride up in the media truck, and our biggest issue isn't the water. It's the low branches. And, we're always, everyone's ducking for cover, but that's a whole other story. All right, so already 15,000 plus signed up, total numbers?
Probably numbers as of Saturday, May 14 will be close to 23,000 in all the events, which is just incredible. We're so excited that the city continues to support it. Fifth Third Bank remains our major presenter, and we have so many sponsors that come on out, and including the community and all of our participants. We're very delighted.
Well, what is it you think that makes an event like this continue to grow when you see the economy not doing so well, people like moving out of the state and that sort of thing, but you have an event like this, whether it's hand cyclists or wheelchairs or 5K or 10K, it's getting so big you've had to split the 5K up now because of this.
Exactly. We've got 2 starts for the 5K run this year, a 7 a.m. start and a 7:30 a.m. start, so everybody's got a little bit more elbow room out there on the course.
Okay, now how do you decide who's in what event, or does it just how people
Well, we initially called it a men's heat at 7 and a women's heat at 7:30, but you could cross gender. So if you wanted to run with your boyfriend, you could go ahead and pick that heat. If you wanted to run as a family, you could all pick the same heat. Right now, as a matter of fact, less than 1/3 of the participants are registered for the 7 a.m. and over 2/3 of the participants are registered for the 7:30 a.m. So what we're telling people right now, if you want to set a PR or you want to get an award in that 5K run, pick the 7 a.m. heat.
That's a half hour less sleep.
That's what everybody says, but you got to get downtown anyway. 38,000 spectators, 23,000,
See, that way, hey, there's the sell. Get in, get out, and then you're good.
Get in, get out, exactly.
Okay, Greg, for a guy that ran this thing and won it 7 times back in the day, are you kind of taken back at all by how, because we still have some of that old video from 1978, 79.
Let's show it.
Leave me alone.
We have
She's
it.
picking on me.
We'll pick it up. But back then, it's, you just had a few little scatterings of people on either side of the street, and, it's like,
it was a different event back then, but it was planting the seeds for what's gone on now. And I think when you look at the event now and why it's grown, it's the quality of the leadership. She's too modest, and then the volunteers. They make this thing go, and it's why people continue to come out, and we're in a unique sport that you can toe the line with national champions, international people, and be the average runner, and you can go up and talk to them. They're nice people. There's no gates between you and them. We have a special sport. Plus, everybody gets to achieve their goal. Everybody's victory is just as important as somebody else's.
Yeah, just cross that finish line. All right, tell you, we're going to take a time out. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some of the bigger names that we've got expecting, because this is the U.S. 25K Championship coming up. So we've got some interesting people coming up, and we'll see what we can expect. We'll race week.
Race week, here we are.
Already?
Yeah, it's here. Time out. We'll be back in a couple minutes. We'll talk more about the Riverbank Run. Stick around. Back here on Sports Overtime, talking about the annual Fifth Third Riverbank Run as we get set for race day coming up next Saturday. So, of course, Greg, being the 7-time champion, his job now with the event is the elite athlete recruiter and coordinator. And this is the USA Track and Field 25K Championship. So we've got some top U.S. runners coming to town this week. Who can we expect to see?
On the men's side, there's about 7 or 8 guys who can win. It's the deepest field, one of the deepest fields we've had, and fairly equal. Last year's defending champion is back, Andrew Carlson. Nick Arcianaga will challenge him. Josh Moen just was the first American out in Seattle at the Lilac Bloomsdale race, but only 3 seconds behind him was Fernando Cabada. So, there's a group of guys that are going to be there. On the women's side, Molly Pritz coming out of the Hansen team, the same team that gave us the second place finisher, Desi Davila at Boston this year.
Okay.
They're high on this girl. She's going to run well. And then I think one of the neatest stories in the race is Colleen de Ruck, former South African who's 46. She's a U.S. citizen. She's made 4 Olympic teams. I mean, this woman is still running great. She could sneak in. She might win the whole thing, but she'll be top 3 or 4. She's just one. She's like a Joan Benoit Samuelson.
Right.
She's just tough.
When you do your recruiting and you do your pitch to different people to come, whether it's dealing with them or their agents or whoever, how much of it comes down to just selling the event, but how much of it also is based on their training, based on, you know, travel plans, based on, well, this really doesn't fit into the schedule for the other things that I'm trying to do?
You know, the Riverbank Run has always been sort of caught in the middle. A lot of guys, a lot of men and women, if they choose a marathon, we get left out because we're too long of a race to come back from either Boston or the London Marathon if they're running a big spring marathon. And then you have the other set of people who, if they're getting ready for their track season, they may not want to run a 25K because it can really set you back for like 3 weeks to a month. So you've got to find those people who are in the right spot in their training. Most come here because they know the quality of the race. A lot of them will come here to test themselves, trying to win a national championship first and foremost, but then testing themselves for a marathon in the future to see where they're at. If they skip the spring marathon, they may be getting ready for the fall. Right now they're getting ready for the Olympic trials, which are next winter. So they can use a 25K to gauge how that training's going. So it really is catching them in the right cycle, hit or miss.
What they are.
Yeah.
Sign-ups. Now, obviously no race morning sign-ups, so everything has to be done by Friday, and I know we always have the deal downtown on Friday. So if people are still interested, okay, I need to go sign up, how do they go about doing it?
They can do that all the way up until 11:59 p.m. on Monday, May 9, which is tomorrow, or the next time they can sign up is Friday, May 13 at the DeVos Play Sports and Fitness Expo. Free door show. We've expanded it. 2 halls this year, over 130 vendors, incredibly interactive stuff, and they can register from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. along with packet pickup. But as you mentioned, no race day sign-ups.
No race day sign-ups. So tomorrow, up till tomorrow night online, or then show up Friday down
Show
at
up
DeVos.
Friday, yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Looking forward to
See you
race week.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, if not Friday or sooner.
Yeah.